I think what we've lost here is a sense of community. We've lost our sense of who we are to stand up and fight.
They sat around a table and shared their thoughts about the current situation in the city of Newburgh.
Some of these mothers are working like 12 hours, 16 hours a day just to pay rent. So nobody's watching the children.
We need more muscle on the streets. We know where the trouble is. We know that. We need more police.
But at the 6 o'clock on weekend, Newburgh is dead. There's nothing
and there's
here.
No place for them to
there's
go.
Nothing going on in Newburgh for the youth at the 6 o'clock and on weekends.
They were looking for ideas that could help stem the recent surge of gang violence and murder in the city. Mount St. Mary College hosted the Roundtable Forum. The Times-Herald Record invited representatives from law enforcement, business, and community organizations to brainstorm. And there was agreement that priority one has to be getting the hardcore criminals off the streets permanently in order to remove the current climate of fear.
I talk to people and I used to ask them, but why did you move to Newburgh? They said, because here you can have a gun and not get in trouble.
Right.
You can sell drugs and not get in trouble.
The court system's broken in the city of Newburgh. People that go through that system do not get consequences. And I'm not saying everyone goes to jail, but I'm saying when you go to court, you understand that there may be consequences. I think it's demoralizing to the police as it is to the prosecutors.
Panelists say better street lighting and surveillance cameras could help make Newburgh streets safer, and that, speakers say, is vital.
It's kids, it's at night in the cover of darkness, and you know, we have to work on reducing that. So the curfew would reduce the juvenile crime, the property crimes, the mischief crimes, and it's an enforcement tool for the police. It reinforces parental authority, because now they say, well, why can't I go out? And it's no longer because the parent doesn't have to say, well, because I said so. They say, because you can't. It's against the law.
When we look at decisions that have to be made in terms of curfews and so on, we have to ask ourselves and be honest when we ask ourselves, is that going to bring the kids on board? Or is that going to, you know, disenfranchise them more in a sense where they feel, you know, that they don't have a stake in what goes on?
What should be done to keep kids busy and away from the reach of gangs? Speakers talked about the need to have more for them to do, and that, they say, should include creation of an activity center and increased availability of the city's athletic fields.
Open the fields. It's almost May. The fields are not open. The stadium is not open. We had the spring break. Fields were closed. Taking care of grass. You ask people, oh, so the grass grows. Do we want grass? We can buy grass. I'd rather see a dusty field than more kids dying.
Father Bill, if they open up the gym or not on Mondays again for us parolees or people that, you know, like to play basketball. On Mondays, we like to go up to the mountain and play basketball.
I'm going to make sure that the gym is open for you guys. I will go back to the 8 o'clock evening. I'm sorry that has had to happen.
Newburgh's recent murders and gang violence is getting some federal government attention. That could help, but the current economy remains a major hurdle.
With less officers, there's no preventive maintenance. Everything is reactive instead of proactive. And if you react to it, it's never going to work.
And we're now in a perfect storm where government has no money, there are no jobs, so people are hanging out on the streets more. And we're really at a crisis point here in Newburgh and in many cities throughout New York State and throughout the United States.
The way the federal government works is they see something wrong and they throw resources at it in kind of the same way the military does with the surge approach, okay? So if Newburgh right now is the flavor of the week right now, is all of a sudden on all these folks' radar, let's benefit from that.
Continue to fight. Continue to fight. Because these are your kids.
A young Newburgh man who's done prison time, Donovan Snoop James, was there to offer his perspective. He says the time for talk is over, unless you're talking to the at-risk kids that hang out on Newburgh's streets.
I mean, every other day you got another kid dying or another building being torn down. My thing to them was go out there and do something. Go see, I mean, if they got money that they can get somewhere to get some money for them kids to do something, then do that. If you can go out there and do them with the kids, then do that also. But do something.
Despite the recent upsurge in crime and the drop in available resources, the panelists are convinced all is not lost.
Oh yes, there is hope. Without a doubt, there's hope.
In Newburgh, Tracy Baxter, Record Online.